Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and Spartacus's journey through Skyrim, where we take the dual-wielding orc warrior with light armor through legendary playthrough. We were recently able to get the Hearthfire house unlocked. We don't have enough gold to purchase it, and we were able to in last episode we were able to pull or pick up the rueful axe from all the way up here, way up here, right? The Rime Rock Burrow. We were able to pull the rueful axe. We're gonna go turn that in. We've got a bit of a run to do, so we're gonna have to get there, and then afterwards, hopefully, what we're gonna be able to do once we turn this in, we'll try and do some alchemy. I'll show you the two gathering runs that I do, kind of explain those, and then show you the loop in which I use to sell those mats. So it might be a little longer episode, but hopefully with the speeding up of those things, that should cut the time down pretty good. And so without further ado, we'll get into the gameplay here. Right.
Lead the way.
We'll go ahead and pick up our friend here, old Barbus, and we're going to help the dog. We want the mask, and the mask will help us with getting our prices up and all of our selling. So gold will like creation of gold, or at least the selling of items and gathering of gold will be significantly easier. Additionally, apparently there's a quest or an achievement for unlocking a bunch of Daedric artifacts. Whether it's in a single playthrough or overall, I'm not sure. But apparently the axe itself does not count. You have to get the mask here for that to work. So if you're doing that,
You've got
definitely
the
have that.
axe and my dog. Splendid. Excellent work. A hero and his faithful companion retrieving the ancient artifact for the prince. It's almost storybook.
Almost, except
But
you're
it almost seems a shame to give a weapon like that away, doesn't it? I suppose I could be persuaded to let you keep it, but only if you use the axe to kill Barbus. Simple as that.
no deal. You take barbarous.
Huh. You're no fun at all. Guess I'll have to make my own fun elsewhere. And with the pup back, I'll be restored to my full power. There's a whole world just waiting for me. I knew I could trust you. Yeah, dog gets master, master gets cosmic axe. Everyone's happy. Just get over here, mutt. Don't worry, I'll make sure he sees the light. I trust. Oh, wait a second. There's another option here. You forget how nice supreme power feels until you've been stuck in a cave for a few years. It's a shame you wished for something so dull as me taking back the mutt. Quite the lack of imagination on your part. A lack of ambition like that really ought to be punished. Perhaps by turning you into a worm, or maybe a few decades of... Vile, none of that. You made a deal, and the mortal stood by it honestly. Now it's your turn to come through. Oh, fine. Have my boon and be done with it. Got more interesting deals to make anyway.
And there we go. Mask acquired. There it is. I believe that's the Daedric influence. Apparently that doesn't work if you don't. You get the that piece. An Orcish War Axe of Ice. We'll disenchant that. And what do we got here? Do we really... That'll open that. And away we go. Now we're gonna get we're gonna make our way to Whiterun, to the stables, and hitch us some rides. We're also gonna clear out. I believe we have some inventory stuff to get rid of. Let's take a look here. Like we've got some potions, we've got a few things we could get rid of. Got a bunch of ingredients, some food. And some hides. So, got a little bit of inventory management to do. I don't think it's too terrible. We're just going to be doing some alchemy. So, we'll fast forward our runs to running ourselves to Whiterun, to the stables. We'll get up to Morthal, and then off to, I believe, Windhelm, and we'll do some inventory management at Windhelm if we're getting close. And here we go. Alright, so now that we've made it to Morthal, this is our first alchemy run. What we do here is basically, it's just this first run, right? It's gonna kind of go up and down like this. It's across here. If you go farther out into the swamp, there's some more fungal pods and some more other mats you can get. What we're really looking for is the canis root and some death bell and stuff like that. And we're also going to get the city of Morthal because it has a bunch of death bell in it, along with some other alchemy mats. But really, what we're after is the canis root, right? We'll get the other stuff by proxy, and we're not going to push too far into the marsh for any, large amounts of alchemy. So it's just kind of we're just kind of get the low hanging fruit, if you will. So we'll get the Morthal, and then I like to go right first, because this circles back, and I can just kind of follow that. This one, if you go left first and you come across here, I believe this is a waterfall. When you're on your way back, I have a tendency to stick to that left, and I'll end up, way out here where I don't want to be. So we'll just, we're going to go right first, and then, when we're finished with that, we'll hop over to Windhelm, and we'll go, show you that route as well. Alright, so that should wrap up Marthal. We're going to fast travel our way over to the Whiterun stables where we came from the first time. We're also going to remove this marker. So we're going to fast travel back there. And then we will head off to Windhelm. I believe our weight is still manageable since we are only picking up the 272. Yeah, so we've still got 50 weight or so. So since we're not killing anything really big or picking anything up, we should be able to manage that. If not, we have Windhelm right next to us that we should be able to utilize. And we're gonna jump on over there and show you that that little alchemy loop.
Ever been to Windhelm? Oldest city in Skyrim by some account. They say the big old palace there was built by Ys.
Alright, so here's the Windhelm stables. Basically what we're going to do here is, I'll kind of outline this on the map. We're going to come down here. There's a couple farms that have some wheat. We're going to pick up the wheat and the chicken eggs. Additionally, we're going to come back down to where the stables is, and there are two roads. One goes across the river, and then there's one that comes up towards here. Now, we're going to take the one that comes up. It's going to go kind of by Kynesgrove. The ebony mine, I believe, is somewhere back in here, but we're not worried about that. So we're going to kind of head towards Kynesgrove, and we'll just kind of zigzag along here and kind of like along this this trail as it is. We'll come to, I believe, these steaming pools, right? Or they might be even up here, but at some point we'll come to these pools, and we want to stop at the pools. And if you stop at the pools, you're less likely to get the dragon that I think roams in the area. You're less likely to run into bears and giants and other things like that. If you don't, and if you're higher level or whatnot, then you could, and you're not afraid of those things. Essentially, you can farm this whole place. It's got a ton of creep cluster, dragon's tongue, some jazzbay grapes, and some other stuff. The creep cluster being really big. So now we're gonna go ahead and speed that up and see if we can't get that finished too.
What's up, young?
All right, so that that, that particular place is a little more difficult. Has the bear, which we popped everything on. We avoided a cave bear, and we managed to avoid the dragon, which was good. We are blood starved, however, so we're gonna need to feed. We'll probably find somebody to feed on. Hopefully, maybe there's a homeless person laying down. And we're gonna start this loop, right? So we're gonna. I'll show it to you. There's a little bit of prelim stuff we have to do at some of the other cities. There's no prelim stuff to do in Windhelm, but for example, the things like Markarth. Markarth, we have a little piece to. We have to do a quest for their apothecary there, and then I believe it's Whiterun. We've already done that, and then in Solitude we would also need to do something with that. So here we're just kind of looking for the beggar. We need to feed. We need all these people to go to sleep. Maybe we can just come into the heap here. This is the beggar. Because I don't think it'll let us.
They call me a war hero.
I don't think it'll let us sell to the merchants if we are hated and feared. No, that guy needs to sleep. So.
You should unload some of that unwanted gear. Head over to Sodri's used wares. Talk to the elf.
I'm trying to unload some of this gear. Alright, so I'm gonna speed this up and while I find somebody to feed on, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we found a poor, unfortunate soul that we get to feed on. This should allow us to go ahead and sell our wares, peddle our wares to these guys. There's no apothecary really. There's a quest you could do to help out with your gold here. It's there's a general goods type shop that you can help out, and he'll give you some better prices, but that it takes a little bit of time, takes a little extra effort, more than what we want to put forth. We'll wait till 7:56 so that the shops are close to ready. Everything starts up, I believe, at 8.
Add hunger to them.
There we go. 7:57, and we should have these. We're gonna use the 3 vendors that are here. Doesn't look like anybody's here yet, so there we go. Let these guys walk to them to their spots.
Good morning.
See what she has to say. So one of the things that we're gonna do for making money is we're gonna take and we'll put on this apparel for the Clavicus vial. Alright, so we're going to put that on. Now, we're not going to do it right now, but we will give 10 cents or give the gold to the beggar. We're going to do that in Solitude and Whiterun, because those beggars are generally pretty easy to catch. They're usually right at the beginning or right there. Pretty easy to get a hold of. So, we're going to use Clavicus vial. We don't have, I believe there's some sort of like neck pieces at some point that, and some other things we could potentially get. But for now, we're just going to use this. The 20% should be enough for us.
Your skin's as pale. Everything I got on display, really.
So now, she's got food, so we're going to get rid of some food. Because we don't need any of this. She doesn't have much for ingredients. Yeah, so she just has food.
Until next time.
Now we're going to come over here. I want that lady to go back to her shop. So we're going to talk to this guy.
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
He doesn't have anything. So sometimes he can have like miscellaneous things that we want, like an ebony ingot or something like that. But since or a greater soul gem. But since the like moonstone ore, yeah. He can have things like that we want. We're gonna keep the dwarven dagger because I think it'll go better than our steel dagger at some point. Get the orcish war of ice. We're gonna get so nothing in weapons to get rid of. Apparel. We've got this shield. These mage robes. This moonstone circlet. We're just gonna start cleaning things out. We're gonna keep that. Keep this helmet. Necromancer robes. Silver ring. Vendor only has 34 gold left. We're gonna keep these, keep that. Alright. And we didn't purchase much from him, we purchased the one thing from him. And then we're gonna talk to her.
I'd travel more, but who wants to deal with all the soldiers these days?
I don't need you to be there. I just need you to do your thing.
Well,
I'm gonna use this arcane enchanter to disenchant the stuff that I want to. Oh, I don't need to. This enchantment is already known.
Looking to get a drink. Candlehearth Hall's got warm fire. Make it a bit of this.
There we go. And she's kind of like the same as the other guy. She can sometimes have things that we want to purchase. So there's some more moonstone ore. She doesn't have any ingredients, so we're gonna keep selling that apparel and stuff like that. So silver ruby ring. We're done with apparel. Get rid of the food. Books. Get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. We're in miscellaneous. So let's see if we've got anything we want to drop off to them. Typically we would drop off our dragon bones to these types of vendors. Doesn't look like we've got anything else we really want to give them. We can do the gems and drop those off, but we're going to hold on to them for the moment because doing jewelry or crafting jewelry through the blacksmithing is another good way to do that. So, or to level the blacksmithing. So she only has 36 left, so we're going to get that Conjurer's Potion up to 4.9. So now, we actually need to open up Solitude. So, we're going to go to the Whiterun Stables, and we're going to open up Solitude. The reason for this is because the loop. So, we're going to do the prelims here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Solitude, open up the Apothecary, do our selling there, and then do the same thing for Markarth. And then we'll explain the loop. So, I'll fast forward through these. I don't think... No, we shouldn't need to. Have we already been to Solitude before? We have. We just have to go to the stables. Okay.
Hail, companion.
Don't hail me. You're not my companion. So we're close at the 4.9, the 4.9 K gold. At 5K gold, we can buy the the land. I believe we still need some more gold for lumber and stuff like that. So we're gonna try and at least showcase the loop, so that you guys can copy it if you ever need to. And the other thing we'll do is we'll showcase we'll do a little bit of alchemy and just kind of overall get this opened up. It becomes our way of gaining money in on demand, essentially an on demand money supply.
They can't hurt Uncle Rogbeer. Tell them he didn't do it.
Positions. Sorry, you need to go home. Go home and stay there until your mother comes.
So unfortunately the shop is closed at the moment until that happens, or until this happens. So we're gonna just gather up any materials we can get here.
By opening that gate for Ulfric, you betrayed the people of Solitude.
There was no murder. Ulfric challenged Story. He beat the High King in fair combat. Such is our way. Such is the ancient custom of Skyrim and all Nords.
So this is the apothecary's place here. I believe we can even get an amulet of, I believe it's of Talos. From this poor dead guy. Kind of a weird trick. You can, or a nuisance trick. You can actually just get it from his head. Like, you don't have to search his body. All you have to do is get a piece of it, right? Like, which is weird. But
Some gate guard you were.
There's some real animosity for this guy because he helped Ulfric out. Maybe that probably wasn't the best idea since the the Legion is holed up here and this is where they live. But let's see, if we wait an hour, will they take off? Yeah. So we've got to wait probably another hour. The shop opens at 8, so we've got 7:30.
Spare some gold for a veteran?
All right. So we're gonna talk to this guy, give him a gold piece. It won't actually apply until he finishes with this thing, and you can see up in the upper left we get the gift of charity. The other thing we're gonna do, which is specific to Solitude, is we're going to run up here. We have to go to the right, and we're gonna go into the chapel here. And we're gonna talk to, I believe it's Debella, or we're gonna go, worship at the shrine of Debella, or however it is, and that should also allow us. Is it Debella? Zenithar? Okay.
We welcome you to worship the eight divines, freely and openly.
Let's make sure with the active effect that the blessing of Debella. What is it?
Remind us of our place when we forget.
Wander no more, for you are among friends here and safe.
I think it's Zenithar. Just got a feeling it's Zenithar.
Being old's not so bad.
There's a necklace. I believe you can get one of their necklaces. I think it's Zenithar that will give you extra gold for your purchases, or same thing, like better prices. We get the speechcraft from the homeless guy, or the homeless people, and we get which is 10 more. We get some speechcraft out of the mask. We get 20% better prices out of the mask, and then we also get the speechcraft will help us with our prices as well. Here, normally you would just talk to her and purchase your ingredients and sell.
If you're looking for potions, you should talk to my aunt. And you were there for Rogvir's execution.
I don't want to talk about Rogvir's execution. I want... Where is your aunt? I trapped her.
You're a traveler, correct?
Yes.
Have you been to Whiterun? What? I haven't heard from her lately. Oh, that's very sweet.
So she asks us to find out information about her missing daughter. Her daughter went off to fight the war, and she hasn't heard from her. And we will do that quest. But here what we do is we're gonna pick up just about everything we want. Not the super expensive things like the Daedra Hearts, unless you absolutely need them. But the things that we want. We always pick up Giant's Toe. Any vendor. If there's a Giant's Toe on it, you pick it up. The reason for that is because it is a part of the highest selling beneficial potion in the game. Like I said, I think I've mentioned in one of the other videos that I believe there is a poison that goes farther and goes beyond that, but it takes an extra perk point, I believe. You have to invest into increased poisons on top of the increased physician and stuff like that. So we clean her out for everything. She's got about 1,000 gold on her, and then we're just going to clean out our potion inventory here. going to keep paralysis, but any of these other poisons are gone. True shot will be gone. We'll keep the strength for carry weight, as we sometimes end up in some pickles there. Extra, anything that does extra magicka or enhanced stamina where it's increasing it by an amount but not giving us regen. I prefer regen to overall, like increase of the stat. Alright. And then so I'm going to finish her quest. We won't, I'm not going to do the alchemy at the moment, but essentially to explain the loop without doing it, we'll do some alchemy and push that at some point. But in Solitude, the things you want to do, or you want to always have the mask on, because you want the extra speechcraft and the extra prices. You want, if you can find an Amulet of Zenithar, I believe you can get one for free down here near Riften. You can, there's a way to go down and to the right, and there's a Amulet of Zenithar on a shrine, or like on a table over there. We may go pick that up at some point, as a kind of as a bartering gear setup. But at Solitude, you want to give gold to a beggar, and this is where you want your days to start, by the way. You'll wait till you want to give the gold to the beggar at like 7:58, and then be in the shop at 8 o'clock. So you'll have your mask and any of your bartering gear on, you give a gold to the beggar, you run to the chapel, and you talk to the shrine. I believe it's Zenithar, which gives you the better prices. Double check me, or check it out for yourself, either or. But it's, I believe it's Zenithar. So then, once you finish with that, you go to Markarth, right? I go to the left. You could go right, that's up to you. I go to the left first. So, I go to Markarth. When I get to Markarth, I'm headed straight back to the apothecary. And I'm going to do the same thing, where I pull all of her mats, I buy what I want, and I sell the potions that I've created to her until she's out of gold. Then, you don't have to worry about any beggars over there. Then I go to Whiterun. Now, when you get to Whiterun, it's gonna, you should be starting the day. So you should be very, very close. So you're gonna do the same thing you did in Solitude. You're gonna run forward. If you get there early in the morning, the beggars should be just starting to walk across your field of view. If not, you'll have to go hunt him down. But basically, you go, at that point, you go talk to the beggar, get that speechcraft. And then you're headed straight to the apothecary. You're going to clean her out and sell her potions. And if you have other stuff, let's say you just have a bunch of potions, more than you could ever use, or more than you could ever sell to these, or you don't want to keep getting mats, you just want to make money. Now you can also go to Bellathor, you can also go to general goods vendors and sell your potions there as well. So there is that option. Once you've finished selling your potions there, you move back over to Windhelm. Go back to the same 3 vendors we already showed you. What this does is it makes it so that all the vendors in the game, their inventory resets every 2 days. And so by doing this loop, right, it takes you 1 day to go from Whiterun over to Windhelm and up to Solitude. And it takes you another day to go from Solitude over to Markarth and be back in Whiterun. This puts you on a 2-day loop. So every time you load into one of these cities, as long as you've been doing it right, when the shops open, their inventory will have reset, which means that you don't have any wait time. You don't have to kill a vendor to force them to, like, there's a quick save where you can save it, kill the vendor, and then reload, and their inventory will change. You don't have to do any of that. You can just do this loop, right? Just over and over and over again. And at Whiterun, and as long as you have your bartering gear on, the blessing that you get up in Solitude will last for all 4 cities, because that is, I believe that's more real time for how long the buff lasts, rather than in-game time. And so you can go get the buff from, you get the blessing. That's going to last through all 4 cities. This 10 speechcraft from the homeless person is only going to last about 2 cities. So you're getting the maximum amount of gold per item that you sell across the entire loop, and it always shows up. They always have new inventory. So that's the way I do it. You can make thousands of gold in, you know, a couple hours. And it's very pretty easy to do. You can do it you can do this whole set, this whole video. You can do this whole video as early as level 1. As long as you can take care of the mud crabs, and if you went over to the Windhelm one, you could you were, you know, careful and didn't, you know, get into any fights that you didn't need to. You could do this entire rotation from both farm groups to the, you know, the alchemy cell loop here as early as possible. So with that, I appreciate you guys coming and enjoying our trip with Spartacus. We'll do a little bit of loop, probably do some alchemy and a little bit of looping potentially in our next video, and hopefully it looks like we'll be ready to purchase our house down in the Falkreath area. So that's our plan. Appreciate y'all for coming. If you have any critiques, tips, tricks, things you want explained, or anything else like that, just leave a comment below and I'll get to it as soon as I can.